Let me start with this, since we were just referencing the Tim Couch and Air Raid Air. We saw some of the highlights, all of those guys. That's about the time, I'm guessing, when you have your first memories of Kentucky football, right?
You said I was 8. I was actually 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, I mean, what's been really cool is I got to play in Jacob Tammy's golf tournament alongside Tim Couch.
Pretty cool.
So, like, childhood hero to the max, number 2 jersey. My brother and I, who's here, we love the number 2. I ended up being number 4, but, like, the deuce is loose, man. That was Tim Couch. So, like, I love seeing those guys come around. Andre Woodson was at practice the other day. Wesley Woodyard was at our scrimmage last week. Craig Yeases came around. And even players that were just, with the last staff, with Coach Stoops, have come around and been present. And it is their program. It's not my program. I get to rent their house out, but they own this place, and it's really cool to be a part of it.
I think all of those guys, except the Deuce, are out of eligibility, but he does have a year left.
He looks really good. I mean, he is jacked. He looks like a linebacker now.
I know.
He might play something different. That guy is.
Well, let's start talking about the guys you have on your team. Just had the second big scrimmage. Every year in August, there are a couple of Saturday scrimmages where you get to test them under some game conditions. It seemed like, from what I heard of your post game on Saturday, you were happy with what you saw?
I was just happy with the week. I thought we did not perform to our standard last Saturday. It was really hot on the turf, about 120 degrees, but all that is an excuse to not play to a standard. And we took the field this week with urgency, with passion, with an intentional mindset to get better, and I felt like we did. So, yesterday, is it yesterday? No, what's today? Monday? 2 days ago. Yeah, we were out there in Kroger Field and really liked the work that we got in and thought we got better.
You said Kenny Minchey, your quarterback transferring in from Notre Dame, had his best week of training camp. What went into scoring it as his best week?
I think being aggressive, it's one thing to take completions, but it's another thing, especially in practice moments, to push the ball down the field and to try to fit the football into tight windows. And a lot of that is anticipation and timing and just knowing what to do on a play-by-play basis. But that's what I felt like I saw from him more than anything was aggressiveness.
You were referencing Tim and those guys in that air raid era. Some similarities, I'm sure, have worked their way into what you do offensively. What else kind of formulated that version of what your teams, how you want them to look? Yeah,
I mean, the game of football is ever evolving. You talk about college athletics, football is the same. It kind of goes in cycles. There was the I formation years where it was, you had these big Mike linebackers with cowboy collars that ran 5 flat that were 260 pounds, and then stuff started to spread out. That's when Mike Leach and Hal Mummy and guys like Sonny Dykes and Lincoln Riley all developed this air raid offense that you see in today's football. Now it's kind of going back in time. It's getting a little bit more two-back oriented. So a lot of our offense has been trial and error over the years. I've had great guys that have helped mentor me in offensive football, work for some outstanding coaches, and then ultimately the players that we have really dictate what style of play we're going to utilize. So I'm excited about this group and excited to make everybody in this room and across the state of Kentucky very proud.
One thing a phrase you used the other day in talking about Kenny, and a message to him, take the easy money. So just don't be afraid to take something that, don't look to hit a home run maybe on every play.
You can't go broke taking a profit. So I know that contradicts what I just said about his week being aggressive, but it is so true. I mean, the position of quarterback is both an art and a science, and ultimately it's about getting as many first downs as you can, because the more first downs you get, the more touchdowns you score. And so in order to do that, you got to know where to go with the ball. You got to be precise. But if they offer you up a free and easy 6-yard gain, we're going to take it.
You were with a program at Oregon that made run into the playoffs, so you were a little later than might normally be the case for a new coach getting into this program. So you had to play catch up to build a team, and a lot of help in the transfer portal, obviously, some key holdovers. But all of that has to be kind of meshed into a unit, and how has that gone?
Yeah, it was pretty chaotic when I got the job, just to be completely honest. You know, you're trying to build a team while also trying to win a national championship at a place that, you know, gave you this opportunity with people that help get you to where you want to be, and you want to give it all for those players. And then on the flip side, you got to build a program, build a team for this next season, because we can say you're building for the future, which we are, but we're trying to win right now. So it's how do you get that done in a quick amount of time? It's tedious. There's long nights, but I really like the people that we added from the transfer portal, from the high school ranks that we were able to get, and we're going to continue to build this roster throughout the years to come. But you know, nonetheless, excited about this group and excited to watch them play here soon.
You had some guys that, when training camp started back at the end of July, that weren't out there doing everything with you on the practice field. C.J. Baxter, running back, Tegra Shabola on the offensive line, Nick Anderson, wide receiver. Those are just three names that you mentioned on Saturday. And it sounds like those guys, and I'm assuming some others, are trending in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we play a very violent game. It is not, you know, very human to strap on pads and hit each other at full speed every day of the week, you know. And so there's going to be, when you bring in guys, just like the NFL, you bring people that have played a lot of football, there's some nagging stuff that lingers. But, yeah, Tegra's full go. CJ's full go, been working in practice. Nick Anderson's getting back out there now. He worked last week and did a bunch of routes on air. So all those guys are trending in the right direction. It's just sometimes it takes a little bit of time to heal up after a long season.
When I go watch a scrimmage, I've learned over the years not to get too high or low in either direction, because what looks good on one side is invariably not as good on the other side, et cetera. So, but what I can see is you look at individuals, who are guys that are making plays. And you singled out some names of guys that fans need to be aware of or pay attention to that might be able to help you this season that maybe aren't on everybody's radar.
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's been scrimmages I've been a part of over the years where you barely get a first down, and then you look up and your offense is really good. So you're right. You don't try to be too quick to judge based on one scrimmage where you're really calling stuff that you've been calling the last 4 weeks of camp, and the defense guys knows the calls and the offense knows the calls, and so it is a different flow than an actual game. But very excited about some of the guys. I mean, just to name a few, I mean, Willie Rodriguez, I think, is a hell of a football player, Kentucky kid from Cub Cath. Really excited about him, what he's going to do for us. You know, other guys on the other side of the ball, like Ty Bryant's done a really good job, Mike Keys, Humphrey Grace. But I've just been really excited about their commitment, their connection that they've built throughout the last 8 months, and we're starting to really look like a football team.
When you come in new and have so many new faces you're bringing together, I'm sure you don't always know how much of the leadership piece you're going to have, but it seems like you have some strong personalities. Ty is one that leaps to the front of my mind, but you have some guys that you it's a blessing really that you don't always count on to have that kind of leadership.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the best teams I've been a part of are player-led. We tried our best from the minute we got these guys to develop real connection, and until you really know somebody, it's hard to lead. So that was the number one trait in our program, and what we're going to do every single year is to develop that connection, because teams that are connected, they just play the hardest for the longest amount of time. So I'm convicted of that, and guys like Ty, some other guys in our program that have been here but also been in other places, have done a great job so far leading.
When you look at the league and its schedule, it's challenging is an understatement, but it's always going to be that way, right?
It's the closest thing to the NFL, the SEC is. There's more guys drafted out of our league than any other league in the country every single year. So, you know, it's like I've said before, like if you're not ready to take that on, then don't sign up for this job. It is difficult, but you can't change the schedule, can you?
No.
I mean, all right, well then we're going to line up and play on September 5th, and then the next week and the next week, and it's about building rosters, coaching your tail off, getting these guys in position to make plays, and then playing clean. So, you know, I can control what I can. I don't really worry about the schedule. What I'm worried about is what are our coaches doing right now and our players while they're in class at 12:30. It's their first day of school, by the way. So, like, how are they conducting themselves today? And let today be what we focus on, and then we'll worry about tomorrow.
What about the timeline that maybe you had in your head when you were starting training camp? These are the things we must get done before September 5th. Are you on schedule?
Yeah, I'd say so. We do a bunch of situational football work over the last really 8 months, but you have your schedule of events that you hit throughout fall camp that is pretty much standard operating procedure. And then this next Saturday, we're going to have a mock game. We are going to take buses over to our team hotel. We're just going to kind of tour it. We're going to look at the spaces that we're going to be eating at and walking through in that hotel. We're going to get on a bus. We're going to go back. We're going to do a fake catwalk. We're going to air 5 people. And we're going to go in the locker room. We're going to change. And we're going to have the time clock, 2 hours till kick. And we're going to rehearse the game. Because the last thing I want is our guys to have their first time going through pregame on September 5th.
I remember the Music City Bowl in '06, which was Coach Brooks' first bowl, and the buses rolled up there to whatever it was called then there in Nashville, where the Titans play, and they roll around the corner, and there's a catwalk that's literally 100 yards long, and so they park the buses there and walk through all of those people to get to the locker room. You were, as a youngster, I'm sure, in those lines and trying to get a headband or a wristband or a high five or something. So what's it like now to think about running out onto that field and listening to these people and the rest that'll be out there?
Yeah, I remember, too, just being at Commonwealth and going over to the other sideline and just, like, cussing out the away players, too, you know, as, like, a little kid. And just whatever hand signs I was doing to them along with the other BBN. I do remember that. They threw up their wristbands, just throw it right back, that type of stuff, you know. So I was that fan too, but it's exciting. I mean, I cannot wait to see our fans pack out Kroger Field. Can't wait for the catwalk. Can't wait to, show them what we've been working on. And, like I've said before, I am such a fan of BBN because I feel like I've been one my whole life, and so it's really cool to see people out there in our community in Lexington, here in Louisville when I'm back in town, across the state, anywhere. I know I've told this, I think, this got out there that we were in Key West, and, the guy that was giving us our rental car was a Kentucky grad, and he gave us the most Kentucky blue minivan that you've ever seen in your life. So I'm rolling around the Florida Keys in just a blue minivan. So they're everywhere, and I'm really excited to be a part of it.
I remember when the buses rolled up at A&M for the first time to go to A&M back in '18. There must have been 6,000 to 7,000 people there. I'm sure it'll be that way later in September this year. So it is a great asset to you. What's in terms of the changes that are going on in college athletics? Has that had to change at all how you coach?
Not necessarily. I think guys still want to be coached. They want to feel, like I've mentioned, connected to the team, to the program. They want to be held accountable. They want to have a tough program. It's still the same people. I think, everything's so visible now. I mean, I didn't have to deal with social media when I was playing. Whether you had a good game or bad game, really you might see some newspaper clippings or your mom or dad might talk to you about it. But other than that, you really could move on quickly to the next game. Now, shoot, there's some really wild stuff that gets said and thrown out there. So it's our job to help these guys through all that. But, again, it's still football. The field's the same length. We play the same amount of time. There's going to be changes. The most adaptable programs on the field and off the field have had the most success. So, that's why, I'm really excited about Jay and what he's bringing to our administration and being adaptable to the times. And that's what we have to do.
Saw a video clip of some of the highlights from Saturday's scrimmage. You guys put out a lot of content out on social media, and there's no shortage of consumers, as you know, and that's something you have to, embrace as the coach, I guess.
Yeah, not only Big Blue Nation is our number one consumer, recruits are our number one consumer. So it's important that they see our program, that they see that we're visible, because we just mentioned social media, that's who's on it. And we want to make sure that they not only see it from that vantage point, but it gets them to come here. And then when they see our staff, our players, and how much they love Lexington and UK, it all ties in.
It's one of your last chances to talk to a big group of these very passionate fans. So what do you want them to know about your program and your team for this year?
Well, I think the people in this room are a part of our team. We're all on the same team. So the louder you cheer, the longer you stay, the better opportunities we have to win. So think about it like that. Don't think about the scoreboard or the time left. Regardless, we are all in it together. We all have to go out there. We all have to perform. And so that's what I'm asking these people in the room, and then your friends, your family. man, stand up, be loud. If somebody tells you to sit down, that you ruin their view, tell them to stand up. Like, let's get on our feet. Let's make Kroger Field the best environment in college football. And when the offense is out there, be really quiet. And when the defense is out there, be absolutely crazy. So I'm excited to see the tailgaters as we roll up to the field. I'm excited just to feel the buzz of football because it's here. You know, our opponent plays this Thursday, Youngstown State, so you guys can watch them. I think they're on ESPN Plus. Get a good feel for them. A really good squad, and I'm excited about our first game.
Well, good luck.
Thank you. Go Cats.
Coach Will Stein. Coach has got to get back to practice and get busy for the day, so we'll let him let me step back so I don't photobomb these folks. And we'll let him get rolling on the rest of his day and the rest of his week. Let me hit a couple of announcements here before we turn you loose for the day. Thanks to all of the sponsors, including Welch Printing, UK Healthcare, and Central Bank. All of those names, those and others that you've seen pop up when you're doing business with them, thank them for their support of UK athletics. Thanks to Coach Stein, Jay Batt, everyone else from the administration who made the trek over on I-64 for being here today. Thanks to all of you guys. It's always a sellout here at Churchill Downs every year when we do this. So it's great to see. You guys are kind of fighting the battle on the front lines in terms of the Cats and rivals. And my in-laws live in this area, so I know that battle's a tough one. So day in and day out, you have to fight it. So hang in there. Appreciate you being here today, and we'll see you on September 5th at Kroger Field. Thank you.